All right, so this is going to be our end of the month recap on our daily setups. One things that we offer as part of our service is I know a lot of people don't have the time available to trade in the morning or even in the evening. So these are basically set and forget type trades. Basically, we put them on the night before, and then we, for this record, we let them expire on the following day. I'm following a total of 17 different markets. So you can see the effectiveness of the patterns. These are all patterns. These patterns that we're using on these 17 different markets are taught in our core package and in our CD package. The DP here that you see, that's actually taught in core, and then HF, HF2, and HF3. HF, also known as HF1, that is taught in the crystal ball package, CD package. All right. So I have a combination of different patterns. Now, the DP and the HF, those are really good for longer position trades. All right. When we get into the HF2s and HF3, those are really designed for more short-term. But nonetheless, you can use those, but it's more going to have to be more of a scalping approach when you're looking at HF2s and HF3s. That's just been my experience. But if you're the type of guy that wants to just put on, or person that just wants to go ahead and put on a trade, set it and forget it, I really favor the DPs and the HFs. All right, so that's kind of my go-to for me personally for my own trading. But nonetheless, let's take a look at the month of June. Now you can see we do track every single one of these, and just kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at. We have the Aussie US, we have the Aussie yen, we have the Euro pound, we have the Euro yen, Euro US, pound yen, pound US, US CAD, US CHF, which is your Swiss, US yen, crude, gold, US 500, natural gas, small cap, US tech, and Wall Street 30. US tech is going to be your mini NASDAQ, and your Wall Street 30 is going to be your mini Dow. All right. Of course, we're familiar with the US 500. That's actually going to be the S&P mini 500. All right. So we do track them not only based on pattern, but we also track them based on the particular market that we're looking to trade. There is no really any particular market that it works better in. Even though you'll see some of these are green for the year, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be that way for the rest of the year. All right. What's more important is the pattern itself. That's what we want to focus on. So we want to focus on the pattern. Okay. So I don't know if I mentioned that in my last video, but I just wanted to stress that it's really the pattern is that we want to focus on, not so much the individual commodity that we're trading, right? So that being said, let's take a look at where we are for June, and then we'll take a look and see how we are for the whole year, and then we'll see how that compared for the last several years on these. Now, these trades, once again, they go out the night before, so they come out after 6 p.m. Eastern. The trade is executed based on however the market opens up. And then based on that is we go ahead and we just let it expire the following day. Once again, how you exit is subjective. That's going to be, if you want to be a scalper and you want to get out early, you can certainly do that. For me personally, when I put on the trade, I just let it go ahead and expire the following day because I'm more of a short-term trader than I am a long-term trader. So for me, anything longer than 5-10 minutes, that's considered a long-term trade. All right. You'll find that most of your traders that do this for a living are going to be very short-term traders. All right. They're going to be in and out. That's really my preference for several reasons. Number one is a short-term move is a lot easier to predict than a long-term move. So when I'm looking at HF2s and HF3s, this is a good example. They're really strong when I'm trading, 5-10 minute, moves. But when I'm going into holding a position overnight, then that's really going to be looking at something like my DPs and my HS. All right. So But they're all good. They all move. It's just that you have to be a little bit faster in getting out. But in order to keep the stats clean, that's why I just show everything to when it actually expires, which is the following day at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we put them on at night and we just let them expire the following day at 3 p.m. So here's where we are for the month of June. As you can see, totals, if we look at all of them, this is after commissions, we're down $320 total for the year. I'm sorry, for just this month, $320 on net profits. All right. And of course, we break them down. This is not really as important here until we get over here and we start to look at the individual patterns. Once again, you can see, if you look at your HFs, up 175, DPs up 308. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's not a lot of money. Well, you got to keep things in perspective in mind here, is that first of all, you're looking at putting a trade on and carrying it overnight. All right. So this is on a single contract basis. All right. If you want to make a living out of this business, you really have to do, if you're going to hold, if that's the kind of trading you want to do, which is something that I wouldn't like to do, would put on big size. That's something you're gonna have to do if you're going to be that type of trader. My preference is being much more of a short-term trader because that gives me a lot more opportunities, number one. And two, you don't have to put on a huge size. You can just take little bits out of the market. And, after you have several trades, you can do quite well. Whereas when you're trading overnight, you have to be willing to hold on to it and let it, play it out that way. So, but anyway, but as far as percentage wise, I mean, if you think about that with the HF, I wouldn't be starting with anything less than $500. I mean, I think my biggest drawdown was $300 something on HFs going back the last 3 years. So really $500-600 is really where you want to be at, but you don't want to look at this number. What you want to look at is percentages, right? Okay, so when you put your money away in your 401 or whatever the case may be, you look at the annual, where it made 10%, 15% on a good year, right? And for this month, this thing is already up 35%. So percentage wise, that's really an outstanding return on your money, only trading HFs. And then you throw in DPs if you want to do Ps, and you started with 500. Now it's going to be a lot more aggressive, right? But at the same time, that's almost 100% return if you think about it realistically. So, so even on 1,000, even if you put in $1,000, you're still 40% for the year. I mean, 40% just for the month alone. So, most people would be happy with 1% a month. And most people would be tickled pink if they made 10% in a whole year on their money. So yeah, these numbers are really, really strong. And keep in mind, these are only on single contract basis. And I personally trade every single HF and every single DP. I'm very selective in what I do with HF2s and HF3s, but just like clockwork, I am in every HF and every DP that comes up. So that's just the way I personally trade. And of course, I do adjust my contract sizes, which is something that you probably want to do as your account builds. And I have some ideas I can share how I do that, but everybody's going to have their own approach on how they do that. And really, it's going to get down to your account size. Obviously, the more that you start with, it gives you a lot more flexibility. And the least you start with, you just have to be a lot more selective. So let's see where we are for the whole year. So for the whole year on the HS, we're sitting at 1353, down 306 on the HFs, down 643 on HF3s. But look what it did the year before. See, this is what I'm talking about, is that as a whole, when you look at it, it's not bad, but you can have a whole year when a particular pattern is not going to do well. Remember, these are more scalping patterns. So these results don't show scalping, okay, getting out of them, right? Once again, when you get out, that's going to be subjective. These are based on the fact that you did nothing but put the trade on, forget about it, just let it expire the following day, right, at 3 o'clock. That's the way this is set up. Also, keep in mind that I'm trading options here. I'm trading binary options. If you wanted to do this with stocks, you can still use the same patterns, but the technique of getting in and getting out is going to be a lot a lot different. All right. So, and we will be sharing some of those results. We are starting to look at a lot more stocks, and that is going to be something that we're going to be adding to the service. But right now, I just want to focus on these 17 different markets that we're actually trading. Okay. So, but if you look at your overall, and this is a total for all of them, you can see HFs, HF3s, and DPs all over the last 3 years had done quite well. We didn't track DPs in 2020. And as far as 2021 on the DPs, this was only, I think we started in August. So this wasn't, but 3 or 4 months of trading on DPs. All right. So we know DPs are very reliable. Obviously, HFs are very reliable. So I'm pretty confident in putting on those trades and holding them, because I know that these two patterns do very well holding for a longer period of time. All right. So when you look at these kind of numbers, and that is without, we're not compounding here. I mean, this is on a single contract basis, folks. So you look at those kind of, that's just outstanding returns for something you just put on a little ago. All right. So keep that in mind. If you want to be and this is really more for your hobbyists. I call people hobbyists that really are not doing this, don't have a luxury of trading full time and watching the markets all day long, which very, very few people can do. But if you're the type of guy that wants to make a living out of this, I think it's important to focus more on short term than these overnight trades. But for somebody who just wants to put on a trade, and let it go and not be concerned about it, this is not a bad approach to doing that. All right. And I certainly put my money on it. And I believe in these patterns because they've been holding up for over 30 years, and they do work across the board. And that's really what I'm trying to show here more than anything else. So that's kind of where we're at for the year. Not bad for right now, 2022, look at that, 1358, we're down 306, right? Down 600 there, but up 634. So that's the total year. I showed you what this is where we are for the month of June. So, not a bad year at all. I really think this could end up being a really strong year, because I really didn't expect on average, I was thinking $1,200-$1,300 on the HFs, on the DPs, you're probably over 1,000, I think, if I look at it realistically. So, I'm almost there, 60% of that target right there for the whole year. So, I'm happy. The patterns are just doing exactly like they're designed to do. So anyway, that's it. If you have any more questions about this, just go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com. Once again, as I've mentioned, we are getting ready to make a name change, because we're going to start looking at a lot more. We're going to be focusing on commodities and stocks as well, and not just on currencies. And if you're watching our morning show, remember the morning show comes out every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you watch the morning show, and you'll see that we are also looking at indices and some commodities as well. And if you want to participate in only these, let's say you want to participate in only and get these nightly setups that we send out on these 4 different patterns, you can do that. You'd have to join our trial room. It's cheap. It's $50 a month. Very inexpensive. You'll be able to not only enter our trial room, where we have some charts there, and you'll see some of our setups for our core strategy, but you'll also receive these nightly setups as well. All right. So it's for $50 a month. It's a really good deal. Obviously pays for itself. It has paid for itself. There's no guarantee of future results. I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee that I'm going to make money at the end of the year, but I've been doing this long enough to feel pretty confident the fact that, at the end of the year, or at the end of the month, or at the end of the week, the better you get at it, you build up a lot more confidence, and where you are going to be financially. So, but keep in mind, you always got to state that there is no guarantees. And also, I see a lot of people try to trade these dailies, and, as soon as it goes against them, they're getting out. As soon as they make a little bit of green, they're out. And that's really not the way it's designed. you want to capture as much of that premium as you possibly can. So, you're selling something at $58, you want to capture that full $58. If not, at least, 90% of it. But you don't want to be selling something at 58, and as soon as you make $10, get out of it. I mean, if you can do that, you're going to end up losing money. So a lot of trading is discipline, and not only you have to believe in the tools that you're trading, but you also have discipline to let the trade play itself out. And a lot of people can't do that. I don't care how long they've been trading. I see that as one of the biggest things. So the only thing I can say as far as trading is, and the way that my programs are designed, is we hopefully teach you that it's important to hold on to your trades longer, okay, not shorter, because you have to give the market time and room to play out. All right. The only way that if you're a nervous trader and you want to be a scalper, you can do that. But at the same time, even if you're a scalper, sometimes you just have to hold on to it a little bit longer, even though you may be green. If everything is still pointing down and you're short, you've got to hold on to it a little bit longer. And that just comes with experience and time, and a lot of screen time. Okay, so I'll do another recap at the end of July. We'll take a look and see where we are on these daily setups. Once again, if you're interested, binaryprostrategies.com. Sign up for the monthly free trial. You can stay as long as you want in that trial. It's $50 a month. You'll get these nightly setups. And of course, you're also going to get some charts every morning and evening. You'll be able to go and look at the charts, and you're going to be able to see some setups for a core strategy. That's 5 different patterns, but we show you and we plot those on the chart, so you can go ahead and track those as well. All right, that's it. Everybody have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow morning for our live morning show. Y'all take care.